Hello and welcome back to the Bard Review, the perfect start, as always, to your Sunday morning here at the Barn Theatre. I'm Benjamin Collins and I'm delighted to be joined, as ever, by the series co-producer Aaron Sidwell. Aaron, what have we got in store for us this week?
Well, in our last week, we thought we'd leave you on a nice sad note. This is it's tragedy week this week. Tragedy. They do that in extras, you know, when he goes into the Big Brother house in extras and they're like constantly just having to go tragedy and they're like burst into the dance. Utterly ridiculous. But that is
show well known for its outtakes, by the way.
Oh yeah, that and The Office, unreal outtakes. But yeah, it is tragedy week this week. I mean, you know, some of these plays that this week we've got Othello and Hamlet and Macbeth, and they're endless. His tragedies were so good, but he started out as just a pure comedy writer. He never wrote tragedy. There was like a real turning of the tide with him, and there's some question marks over what happened in his life that made him want to write these, because he was just comedy.
Yeah. Well, it's regardless of the reason, I suppose, he did pen some of his most famous absolute classics. As you just mentioned, all of these plays, we love them, we know them so well.
My noble lord.
What dost thou say, Iago?
Did Michael Cassio, when you wooed my lady, know of your love?
He did, from first to last. What dost thou ask?
But for a satisfaction of my thought, no further harm.
Why of thy thought, Iago?
I did not think he had been acquainted with her.
Oh yeah, and when between is very oft.
Indeed.
Indeed. Aye, indeed. Discernst thou aught in that? Is he not honest?
Honest, my lord?
Honest, aye, honest.
Oh, my lord, for aught I know.
What dost thou think?
Think, my lord?
Think, my lord. Alas, thou echoes me as if there was some monster in thy thought too hideous to be shown.
My lord, you know I love you.
I think thou dost.
For Michael Cassio, I dare be sworn that I think he is honest.
Nay, yet there's more in this. I prithee, speak to me as thy thinkings, as thou dost ruminate, and give thy worst of thoughts the worst of words.
Well, utter my thoughts, but I'd say they are vile and false as, where's that palace whereunto foul things sometimes intrude not? And who has a breast so pure, where no unseemly apprehensions keep leets and law days, and in session sit with meditations lawful?
Thou dost conspire against thy friend, Iago. If thou but thinkst him wrong, and makest his ear a stranger to thy thoughts.
I do beseech you, though I perchance am vicious in my guess, as I confess it is my nature's plague to spy into abuses, and oft my jealousy, it shapes thoughts that are not, that your wisdom, from one that so imperfectly conceits, would take no notice, nor build yourself a trouble out of his scattering and unsure observance. It were not for your quiet, nor your good, nor for my manhood, honesty, and wisdom to let you know my thoughts.
I'll know thy thoughts.
You cannot. If my heart were in your hands, nor shall not, whilst it is in my custody. Beware, my lord, of jealousy. It is the green-eyed monster which doth mock the meat it feeds. That cuckold lives in bliss, who, certain of his fate, loves not his wronger. But what damned minutes tells he o'er, who dotes, yet doubts, and suspects, yet strongly loves.
Oh, misery. 'Tis not to make me jealous to say my wife is fair, feeds well, loves company, is free of speech, sings, plays, and dances. Where virtue is, these are virtuous. nor from mine own weak merit will I draw the smallest fear or doubt of her revolt. For she had eyes and chose me. No, Iago, I'll see before I doubt. When I doubt, prove. And on that proof there is no more but this, away at once with love or jealousy.
Well, I am glad of this, for now I shall have reason to show the love and duty that I bear you with franker spirit. Therefore, as I am bound, receive it from me. I speak not yet of proof. Look to your wife. Observe her well with Cassio, and were your eye thus not jealous nor secure, I would not have your free and noble nature, out of self-bounty be abused. Look to it. I know our country disposition well. In Venice, they do let the heavens see their pranks they dare not show their husbands. Yeah, their best conscience is not to leave it undone, but kept unknown.
Does thou say so?
Well, she did deceive her father marrying you. When she seemed to shake and fear your looks, she loved them most.
And so she did.
Now why go to then? She that so young could give out such a seeming to seal her father's eyes up close as oak, he thought was witchcraft. But I am much to blame. I do humbly beseech you of your pardon for too much loving you.
I am bound to thee forever.
I see this up a little dash your spirit.
Not a jot, not a jot.
Trust me, I fear it has. I hope you will consider what I spoke comes from your love, but I do see your mood. I am to pray you not to strain my speech, right, to grosser issues, nor to larger reach than to suspicion.
I will not.
My lord, I see you're moved.
I do not think but Desdemona is honest.
Oh, long live she so. And long live you, sir. I think so. Good night, my lord.
We are now joined by Isabel Coward, who we saw earlier this week alongside Adam Sopp in King Lear. Welcome to the show, Isabel.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Isabel, this was a bit of a coming together of Bristol Old Vic. Am I right in thinking that you and Hal had worked together at drama school before this?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm on the 3-year course at Bristol Vic, due to graduate soon. And yeah, I'd worked with Hal on a tour that we did, a TIE tour, which was another Shakespeare production actually. We did Shakespeare. It was called The Rough Guide to Shakespeare, RUFF. And yeah, we just sort of talked about Shakespeare's life and plays and toured that around schools. And Hal directed that. And then also Adam was also a grad of Bristol Vic. So it was a little Bristol Vic Theatre School crew, which is lovely.
Yeah, Adam, he speaks so fondly of his time at Bristol and obviously with Hal being so kind of entwined in this project in helping us come up with the original concepts and stuff. I saw this culmination, and when I was chatting to Adam about doing doing a duologue for us, I was like, I'll put you with Hal, it'll be fun, I'll put you with Hal. And then with those few Bristol Vic guys, because I know Paul Clarkson really well, who put everybody in touch with me, who is the head of acting, I believe, at
That's
Bristol
right,
Vic. I was really keen to kind of get just a complete Bristol Old Vic video, so hopefully they'll really appreciate that. So we're just going to go into this now. This is Isabel Coward and Adam Sopp in King Lear, directed by the wonderful Hal Chambers.
Methinks you are too much of late in the frown.
Not only, sir, this your all-licensed fool, but other of your insolent retinue do hourly carp and quarrel, breaking forth in rank and not to be endured riots, sir. I had thought by making this well known unto you to have found a safe redress, but now grow fearful by what yourself too late have spoke and done, that you protect this course and put it on by your allowance, which if you should the fault would not scape censure nor the redress sleep, which in the tender of a wholesome weal might in their working do you that offence which else were shame, that then necessity will call discreet proceeding.
Are you our daughter?
Come, sir. And would you make use of that good wisdom whereof I know you are fraught, and put away these dispositions that of late transform you from what you rightly are?
Doth any here know me? This is not Lear. Doth Lear walk thus, speak thus? Where are his eyes? Either his notion weakens, his discerning's lethargied. Ha! Waking, 'tis not so. Who is it that can tell me who I am?
Lear's shadow.
I should learn that, for by the marks of sovereignty, knowledge and reason, I should false be persuaded I had daughters. Your name, fair gentlewoman?
This admiration, sir, is much o'er the saviour of other your new pranks. I do beseech you to understand my purposes aright. As you are old and reverend, you should be wise. Here you do keep 100 knights and squires, men so disordered, so debauched and bold, that this our court, infected with their manners, shows like a riotous inn, epicurism and lust, make it more like a tavern or a brothel than a graced palace. The shame itself doth speak for instant remedy. Be then desired by her that else will take the thing she begs. A little to disquantity your train, and the remainder that shall still depend to be such men that may besort your age, and know themselves and you.
Darkness and devils. Hey, saddle my horses! Call my train together! Degenerate bastard! I'll not trouble thee, yet have I left a daughter.
You strike my people, and your disordered rabble make servants of their betters.
Detesty kite! Thou liest. Go, my people! Daughter, if thou didst intend to ever make this creature fruitful, into her womb convey sterility. Dry up in her the organs of increase, and from her derogate body never spring forth babe to honour her. If she must teem, create a child of spleen, that it be maybe a thwart disnatured torment to her. Let it stamp out the wrinkles in her brow of youth. From cadent tears fret channels in her cheeks, and turn all her mother's pains and benefits to laughter and contempt, that she may feel how sharper than a serpent's tooth it is to have a thankless child. Away! Away!
Longless and Dominic Hayden join us now to discuss their scene from the famed Scottish play. How are you guys?
Good. I've got my intelligent background, just let you guys go. I read books.
Check out that bookshelf.
I know, it's actually fake. No, it's not. It's
Good.
Ellie, you and I ended up actually doing this play together last year for one day. It must be said, under like truly trugic circumstances. And it was directed by Joe Pitcher, who has directed this version of Macbeth, along with another 3 episodes that we've already done. But you and Joe go right back to drama school together. So how was it for you guys to work on this together?
It was. It's brilliant. Joe was my drama school bestie, and we've stayed in touch ever since. And Joe was an actor for many years, and he moved into directing. He's done Matilda with the RSC, and he's been all over the place. And then he did Macbeth with the Shakespeare Project. It was his first Shakespeare, so it was really nice to work together on this. And plus to kind of do something to shift the context, to try and kind of, I actually think it fits really nicely within that kind of lockdown, kind of almost post-apocalyptic world. It's a very claustrophobic play. So I think it actually fits really nicely into this context.
That's true. Yeah, for sure. I was going to ask Dominic, this video reminds us a bit of the behaviour of another Dominic during lockdown. Was that a motive, if you get what I'm saying, for you guys when creating this scene? Is it similar to the behaviour of another Dominic?
Do you know what? That hadn't really kicked off when we filmed this. Yeah, so that I guess is just a poetic irony that's happened as a result. I think, and I know, like, Dominic's character, who plays Ross in this, it's, I guess you play a kind of a defector in terms of, there's a kind of, there's definitely an anti-government kind of, or an anti-establishment vibe going on within this piece. Sure. And Dominic's character is part of a disaffected group of people who are kind of taking a stand against, I guess, a mysterious government. We didn't actually kind of give it any kind of firm time or place, which I think works really well. It could be any government, any time.
Sure. And we've got Dominic back. I'm sorry, mate. We were just going to talk about Dominic Cummings for a second there, but obviously this was filmed before any of that kicked off. Let's just get your brief take on the experience of creating this piece.
Yeah, like it was great. I really enjoyed it. Obviously I just graduated, or about to, hopefully, drama school within the coming months. And I've always been a huge Shakespeare fan since before I can remember. I think Macbeth pieces my parents took me to see at the theatre back in Hull, God knows how old I was. And I just think seeing it, I knew that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I was going to try and make a living in. And I think, I don't know, it's a nice circular structure to kind of end up graduating and doing this piece. Obviously, I got very lucky to work with Eleanor and Joe, and I had a lot of fun doing it. It was great.
Yeah, it was great fun. But actually, we were fighting against the twilight and the darkness, and Dominic actually got told off by somebody. I think it was some passerby, because his sister's car was parked somewhere. It shouldn't have been parked. So it was very dramatic and exciting.
Well,
very enjoyable.
With that in mind, let's go straight into it. This is Eleanor, Longless and Dominic Hayden in Macbeth, directed by Joe Pitcher.
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself, it cannot be called our mother, but our grave, where nothing, but who knows nothing, is once seen to smile, where sighs and groans and shrieks that rent the air are made, not marked. The dead man's knell is there scarce asked for who, and good men's lives expire before the flowers in their caps, dying or ere they sicken.
What had he done to make him fly the land?
He was a patience, madam.
He had none. His fight was madness. When our actions do not, our fears do make us traitors.
You know not whether it was his wisdom or his fear.
Wisdom! To leave his wife, to leave his babes, his household, and his family in a place from whence himself does fly. He loves us not. He wants the natural touch, for the poor wren, the most diminutive of birds, will fight for her young ones in the nest against the owl. All is the fear, and nothing is the love. As little is the wisdom where the flight so runs against all reason.
My dearest cuz, I pray you, school yourself. But for your husband, he is noble, wise, judicious, and best knows the fits of the season. I dare not speak much farther. But cruel are the times, and we are traitors and do not know ourselves. When we have rumour from what we fear, yet know not what we fear, but float upon a wild and violent sea each way and move. I take my leave of you. Shall not be long but I'll be here again. Things at the worst will cease, or else climb upwards to what they were before. My pretty cousin, blessing upon you.
Fathered he is, and yet he's fatherless.
I'm so much a fool, should I say longer, it would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once. I doubt some danger does approach you nearly. Be not found here, hence with your little ones. I dare abide no longer.
Whither should I fly? I have done no harm. I've done no harm. What are these faces?
We are now joined by director and all-round top gent, Matt Harrison, and the lovely Mark Peachy. How are you guys?
Very well, thank you.
So, Matt,
Thank you, mate.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Matt, what were you going to say?
Oh, no, nothing. Just how lovely it is to be here.
Oh,
got that straight away.
Well, no, that's all right. We'll keep alive. I was going to ask you, Matt, how you found the whole process.
It's been brilliant, thank you. I think it's, for me as a predominantly theatre director, it was a really exciting challenge to start to go, how do we tackle this new medium that is Zoom? But more than anything else, I think what we missed at the start of lockdown is that sense of community and connection, and to suddenly be able to collaborate with artists again, with the wonderful Mark and Doxer on a brilliant bit of text, was a real treat, to be honest with you.
And Mark, you're a bit of an all-rounder, really, mate. Like, I've seen you do some Shakespeare, but you're also, you know, a big old West End Wendy as well. Has it been nice, kind of, you know, obviously, you were in a West End show, and that's kind of what your year was going to be. I bet it's been just kind of mad having this kind of thing chucked in the mix as well.
Yeah, jack of all trades, mate. No, it's just really nice. Obviously, you just don't know where the year's going to take you. You don't know where this profession's going to take you, really, and certainly nobody could have predicted where we'd end up. But very grateful always for the opportunity to do a bit of Shakespeare, and so a chance to work with people I'd never worked with before, especially a new director, and also a third-year drama school student, which I thought was quite an inspired way of fresh blood combining with some old hat, just to kind of mix it up a bit. But it's been good. I mean, it's just nice to do different work on different projects, and it kept me sane, I think, to be honest, having this to kind of work on. And I was there on the treadmill learning my lines at the same time, so it was kind of a good experience, good for the mind and the body.
And Matt, for you, like having a text like Hamlet, it's it's kind of endless possibility. I mean, it was really funny because we all know Hamlet, but I was like in lockdown, I was like, I've never actually read Hamlet. Like, I've seen it, but I've never read Hamlet. I'm going to read Hamlet. So, like, how is it for you to kind of, get your teeth into this?
Mate, it's so true. It's funny, isn't it? I had that similar thing of when you went, oh, we're going to be working on Hamlet. And I sort of went, oh, shit, I adore this bit of text, but I feel like I have a sort of understanding of a certain vision of it, but quite what is this? And I think I try to always ask myself those questions of why is this a story that needs to be told? And potentially sort of why is this a story that needs to be told? Why now? And why am I the person to tell it? And I think at the heart of it, and as we started to talk as a company, was this sense of grief, and at a time where we're being asked to look at grief in a very different way, or to start to think about how do we grieve virtually. It felt like a really lovely time to sort of dig into that a little bit and to go, right, yeah, what's at the heart of this story, and what are some of the more unusual character dynamics potentially within this story that we don't get to see all the time, or some of the forgotten characters, and to have a little bit of time with Ophelia and Laertes, yeah, it was great.
Yeah, definitely. I must say, one of my favourite things about the announcement of who we had in the show was that at times they used just the Twitter handles, and so frequently getting announced was Big Fat Peach. And I said to Trisha, who has been working with Mark this year, who's my other half, who's worked on Bar from Bar before, I was just like, every time I see it, it's just really making my day that Big Fat Peach is part of Bard from the Barn. You guys have been an absolute dream. This is Dr. Wesley and Mark Peachy in Hamlet, directed by Matt Harrison. Amazing.
How now? What noise is that? Oh, heat. Dry up my brains. Tears, 7 times salt, burn out the sense and virtue of mine eye. By heaven, thy madness shall be paid by weight, till our scale turn the beam. A rose of May, dear maid, kind sister, sweet Ophelia. Oh heavens, is it possible? A young maid's wits should be as mortal as an old man's life. Nature is fine in love, and where 'tis fine it sends some precious instance of itself after the thing it loves.
They bore him barefaced on the bed. Hey, nanny, nanny, hey, nanny. And in his grave reigned many a tear. Fare you well, my dove.
Hadst thou thy wits and didst persuade revenge, could not move thus.
You must sing a down, and call him a down. Oh, how the wheel becomes it. It is the false steward that stole his master's daughter.
This nothing's more than matter.
There's rosemary. That's for remembrance. Pray you, love, remember. And there's pansies. That's for thoughts.
A document in madness. Thoughts and remembrance fitted.
There's fennel for you. And columbines. There's rue for you, and here's some for me. You may call it herb grace on Sundays. You must wear your rue with a difference. There's a daisy. I would give you some violets, but they withered all when my father died. They say he made a good end. For Bonnie, sweet Robin, is all my joy.
Thought and affliction, passion, hell itself, she turns to favour and to prettiness.
And will he not come again? And will he not come again? No. No. He is dead. Go to thy deathbed. He will never come again. His beard was white as snow. All flaxen was his poll. He is gone. He is gone. We cast away moan. God have mercy on his soul. And all you Christian souls I pray, God be with you.
Do you see this? Oh God.
We are delighted to welcome back director Rob Faulkner and to welcome our very own Timon of Athens, Alex Phelps. How are you both?
We're good.
Very well.
Oh, there he is.
You were just raring who was going to speak first then. I was going to ask you, Rob. It's good to see you again. Tell me about how the idea for this came about. Am I right in thinking it was inspired by a walk around London during lockdown? Because I know you like the odd walk.
Yeah, it was actually a cycle into the centre of London. Yeah, it was a COVID cycle through London when right in the middle of lockdown, when there was no, because I wanted to see what London was like. There was no one there because I don't think it would ever happen again in my lifetime. And so I cycled into the centre of London and had a look around. There was no one around, but there was a lot of homeless people in Trafalgar Square, Leicester Square, and in all those sort of spaces. And I was like, they've basically taken over. And so I thought, how has lockdown affected the homeless in this time? So I thought we do something with Timon about the homeless people and look at that area of lockdown. I thought that'd be quite interesting.
And Alex, I loved the way that this was shot. It really reminded me of Peep Show. You know, you kind of got the two angles. Was that an effect you guys were kind of after?
Yeah, like the nice thing about, I mean, the great thing about Peep Show is obviously like it's brilliant for shooting dialogue between two people when not necessarily you're not both in the same room, so you can just sort of face the camera, and which was equally brought its own challenges because you're trying to look at a camera and imagine what the other person is saying straight back at you, so you're sort of going, whoa, what was that? So essentially you learn the entire thing trying to repeat back what the other character's lines are. So it was challenging, but yeah, it's kind of like a Peep Show-esque sort of thing, so it was good fun.
Well, we're going to check it out. This is Alex Phelps and Sam Butters in Timon of Athens, directed by Rob Faulkner.
More men! Plague! Plague!
I was directed hither. Men report thou dost affect my manners and dost use them.
'Tis then because thou dost not keep a dog whom I would imitate. Consumption catch thee!
This is in their nature but infected. A poor, unmanly melancholy sprung from change of fortune. Why this spade? This place? This slave-like habit and these looks of care? Thy flatterers? Yet wear silk, drink wine, lie soft, hug their diseased perfumes, and have forgot that ever Timon was. Do not assume my likeness.
Were I like thee, I'd throw away myself.
Thou hast cast away thyself, being like thyself. A mad man so long, now a fool. What? Thinks that the bleak air thy boisterous chamberlain will put thy shirt on warm? Huh? Will these mossed trees that have outlived the eagle page thy heels and skip where thou point'st out? Will the cold brook, candied with ice, curdle thy morning taste and cure thy overnight surfeit? Oh, thou shalt find.
A fool of thee depart!
I love thee now better than e'er I did.
I hate thee worse.
Why?
Thou flatterest misery.
I flatter not, but say thou art a caitiff.
Why dost thou seek me out?
To vex thee.
Always a villain's office, or a fool's. Dost please thyself in?
Aye.
What? A knave too?
If thou didst put this sour cold habit on to castigate thy pride, 'twere well. But thou dost it enforcedly. Thou'dst courtier be again, wert thou not beggar. Unwilling misery outlives uncertain pomp is crowned before. Thou shouldst desire to die, being miserable.
Not by his breath, that is more miserable. Hadst thou, like us, from our first swath preceded the sweet degrees that this brief world affords, thou would have plunged thyself in general riot, melted down thy youth in different beds of lust, and never learned the icy precepts of respect, but followed the sugar game before thee. But myself, who had the world as my confectionery, the mouths, the tongues, the eyes, and hearts of men at duty more than I could frame employment, that numberless upon me stuck as leaves do on the oak that with one winter's brush fell from their boughs and left me open, bare, for every storm that blows. I to bear this that never knew but better is some burden. Thy nature did commence in sufferance, time hath made thee hardened. Why shouldst thou hate men? They never flattered thee. What hast thou given? If thou wilt curse thy father, that poor rogue must be thy subject who in spite put stuff to some she-beggar and compounded thee, poor rogue, hereditary. Hence be gone.
What hast thou to Athens?
Thee thither in a whirlwind. If thou wilt, tell them there I have gold. Look, look, so I have.
But here is no use for gold.
The best and truest, for here it sleeps and does no hired harm.
Where lies tonight's Timon?
Under that's above me. Where feeds thou a days, Apomantus?
Where my stomach finds meat. Or rather, where I eat it.
Would poison were obedient and knew my mind.
Where wouldst thou send it?
To sauce thy dishes.
The middle of humanity thou never knewest, but the extremity of both ends.
What wouldst thou do with the world, Apomantus, if it lay in thy power? Wouldst thou have thyself fall in the confusion of men and remain a beast with the beasts? A beastly ambition which the gods grant thee to attain to. If thou were the lion, the fox would beguile thee. If thou were the lamb, the fox would eat thee. If thou were the fox, the lion would suspect thee, when peradventure wert accused by the ass. Wert thou an ass, thy dullness would torment thee, and still thou livest but as a breakfast to the wolf. If thou were the wolf, thy greediness would afflict thee, and oft I should hazard thy life for thy dinner. Wert thou a unicorn, pride and wrath would confound thee, and make thine own self the conquest of thy fury. Wert thou a bear, thou wouldst be killed by a horse. Wert thou a horse, thou wouldst be seized by a leopard. Wert thou a leopard, thou wert germane to the lion, and the spots of thy kindred were jurors on thy life. All thy safety were emotion, and thy defence absence. What beast couldst thou be that wert not subject to a beast? And what a beast art thou already that seest not thy loss in transformation?
When I know not what else to do, I'll see thee again.
When there is nothing living but thee, thou shalt be welcome.
Do you want to kick us off?
Yeah. So that was it. That was our last week of series 2. Wow, I think it's been a really good series. I've really enjoyed seeing so many different actors on our screen, double the amount of actors we had in series 1. I think it's been amazing. What do you reckon?
Well, as promised, it's been bigger and better than ever. I think this can only bode well for the future of all things Bard, Aaron.
Well, now's the perfect time to tell you we will be back for a series 3.
Oh, wow! Goodness gracious me.
It is our 3rd and final series of 2020. Maybe.
Stop.
Maybe. Will we come back? Will we come back like Dirty Den? We never know. And we've got some pretty big names joining us for series 3. Are you excited, Ben?
I'm very excited, Aaron. I don't know any of them yet. You haven't revealed them to me, but I've got some high expectations. What can I say? I'm a little guy with big expectations. I'm just really excited for season 3, man. Series 3, sorry. It's been great so far. I think this concept has really has taken us to all sorts of incredible places, and we've met and worked with some incredible people because of it. And long may it continue. That's what I say.
150 people today. 150 different people have worked on this project in lockdown in this way. That's mad. That's incredible. I don't know many theatres that have 150 actors go through their doors in a year, let alone in a matter of months.
I don't know many producers that could corral 150 people at any given moment.
Certainly don't think there's any that want to. Thank you so much for joining us again on Bar from the Barn. Your continued support for this theatre and the creative arts industry is vital at this time where we cannot be